Hey everyone, it's Sam Abu Samad again, and this time I'm driving the updated 2018 Mercedes-Benz S-Class, in this case the S560 4Matic version, which means it's got a 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine and all-wheel drive. But what's particularly interesting about this one, and the reason why Mercedes wanted me to check it out, was because of the updated version of the intelligent drive mode that they have. And earlier this year, I tried out the 2017 E-Class, which had a previous generation version of this. And this one has basically the same hardware, but with updated software. And it does some pretty interesting things. Now, the system, which is Mercedes' latest edition of their partially automated driving system, is it's pretty interesting. It's got some pretty amazing capabilities. But after driving this for a few days, one of the things that I've noticed is that there's really, of the systems that are out on the market today, from General Motors with their Super Cruise, or Tesla Autopilot, or Volvo's Pilot Assist, all the various types of systems that are out there, none of them really do everything. They're all kind of cherry-picking various different capabilities, and ideally, I'd like to be able to pick pick the features I want from all of those and put them together into one car, and so far nobody really offers that yet. So for example, GM with Super Cruise, which we tried out a few weeks ago on the 2018 Cadillac CT6, that is the first system that is officially labeled as a hands-off driving system on highways. Mercedes, for their intelligent drive system, is not a hands-off system. You do have to keep your hands on the wheel, at least lightly. But beyond that, it does have some pretty impressive features that the GM system doesn't have. When we tried out Super Cruise, one of the things we learned about that is that GM includes a high-definition map database of about 160,000 miles of divided highways in North America, and it uses that map information to geofence the system, which means that you can only use Super Cruise on divided highways. You can't use it in around town driving. And it does actually use the maps as well as sort of a long-range sensor for Super Cruise, in that as you're driving along, it looks out about 1.5 to 2 miles ahead of where you are, and when it detects a curve coming up in the road, depending on what your current vehicle speed, your cruise control speed is set at, it can actually automatically slow down the car a little bit based on the curvature of the road, and then resume your set speed once you get past that curve. But it doesn't use, other than that, it doesn't really use the maps as part of the control system. Mercedes has gone one step further. They don't have high definition maps the way GM does at this point, but the maps are used to detect where you're driving, and when you enable the intelligent drive mode on the Mercedes, using the cruise control button to enable the system first and then setting your set speed, what it starts doing is it starts looking at the road ahead of you. So for example, if you're driving along and there's a roundabout coming up along your road, if you have the speed set to whatever the speed limit is in that particular area, and you're approaching that roundabout, the car, with the system enabled, the car will automatically slow down. So right now I do not have my foot on the gas or on the brake, and the system has just alerted me that the speed is dropping because of the roundabout. And in the instrument cluster, it shows a little symbol of a roundabout, and the car is slowing down by itself from 40 miles an hour down to about 20 miles an hour as I go through the roundabout. And then once I get out the other side of the roundabout, it will automatically resume back up to my set speed, and all that without ever touching the gas or the brake pedal. Similarly, for curves in the road, it will adjust your speed based on what it thinks is safe. In driving both the E-Class earlier this year as well as this new S-Class, I've found that the new camera system that Mercedes-Benz is now using for their lane detection, which is it's gone from a single camera system to a dual camera stereo vision system, seems to be much more reliable at detecting lane markings, even when they're very faded like they are in some places along this road. And so that helps it do a better job of doing lane centering and tracking. When the intelligent drive system is activated, if I turn on a turn signal, in this case I'm going to tap the left turn signal, as the system will be looking at the map and looking for the next street where I can make a turn, and it will automatically slow the vehicle down without me ever having to touch the brake pedal so that I can make the turn. And then it automatically resumes. Intelligent Drive is not a full hands-off system like Super Cruise, so you do have to keep your hands on the wheel, but it does do a pretty good job of tracking the lanes and doing most of the steering effort for you. The lane centering is not quite as precise as Cadillac's, so the car does wander a little bit more than the CT6 does. Unfortunately, one feature that Mercedes-Benz has not included in here is, even though the cameras are looking at the speed limit signs and can automatically adjust your cruise control set speed if the speed limit drops, and as well as giving you alerts to changes in speed limit, it doesn't actually look at things like stop signs or traffic signals, so that if you're coming up to make a turn at a stop sign or coming up to a red light, the vehicle will not stop for you. You still have to do that on your own. Let's watch how this S560 handles a series of 3 roundabouts in a row. It's detected. It's slowing down from 45 miles an hour. Drop down to 22. I still have to do all the steering myself in this case. It won't do the lane tracking through the roundabout, but it does handle the speed control very well. Perhaps a little bit overcautious in terms of dropping the speed, but better safe than sorry. Even in some pretty heavy rain, it does a good job of detecting the lane markings and steering itself through the curve. It's no Lewis Hamilton, but it'll do.